Jack Shore, back on the show. Appreciate the time, man. Get you back on here before your fight in a couple weeks in London, England. But before we get into that, let's talk about your debut. You went to Copenhagen. You got the third round submission over Nolan Hernandez. Very dominant performance. Tell me what you didn't like about that fight, though.
To be honest, there wasn't a lot I didn't like. Obviously, it was a very, very good performance, very satisfying fight on my part. There was a few little things. I mean, I got involved in a bit of his game in the second round a little bit, where I was just trading wild punches. But I mean, obviously, I'd like to have finished him in the first round because I had his back for so long. But other than that, I think I showed. Despite it being my debut, then I bring a lot to the table, and my skills obviously on a high level. Nolan is obviously a high level guy. You watch his fight, like we said before the fight, you watch him against Chito Vera. He caused him some issues. So for me to go in there and dominate him for the full 3 rounds, and then obviously pull out the finish late on, was very, very good thing for me and my team.
It almost seemed like you surprised him in that fight. Do you feel that you did that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I surprised him in a couple of areas, to be honest. I know as British and Welsh guys, we don't always get the, is that old stigma of, they can't wrestle with the Americans. So I think my wrestling offense shocked him a little bit, especially how easy I was taking him down. I think that took him by surprise. And also my boxing as well. I think he came into the fight sort of maybe looking at me as just a grappler then who's got good ground control, whereas after sort of I found my range and my rhythm, I was picking him off, at will on the feet with my jab and my kicks. So I think that threw him off as well, disrupted his rhythm, disrupted his game plan. I think everything he sort of brought to the table, I think I surprised him and I had an answer for. So maybe that's why he just couldn't get going, because I shut him down so early on.
Yeah, in the UK, I know that a lot of people were pulling for you, man. You have a lot of support out there. And when you went out there and you got that first win out the way, I'm pretty sure when you got back home, everybody was wild, huh? It was pretty wild, probably.
Yeah, it was a crazy sort of 2 weeks. I mean, a lot of support, come over from the UK and Wales to support me live at the event. And obviously when I came back, I was treated like royalty for a couple of days. Everyone wants a picture and a chat, and the amount of messages and Instagram messages and Facebook posts, stuff like that. The amount of things I had, it would have been impossible for me to get back to everyone. So it was really overwhelming. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to it. And I suppose it's only going to get bigger. Every fight you get more exposure with the UFC. You get more people watching. More eyes are on you from obviously not just the UK but all over the world now. So. I got to get used to it and get used to it fast, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's just a little taste of what's to come. There's a gap of 6 months between that fight and this fight coming up. Was that intentional? Did you want to take that much time off?
I think I wouldn't say I wanted to take that much time. It was just a lot of things going on outside of fighting. Also, I've opened up a gym as well, so that didn't open until beginning of November. So I wanted to focus on that early on, and then it was obviously Christmas and getting past the Christmas period, stuff like that. So there was no sort of fights offered to me before Christmas. So I had when they announced London was for March, I had a very good idea that they'd want me for the card. So I just sort of set my sights on that and just waited for the call. It wasn't so much intentional to take 6 months, but with the timing of the London card and the opening of the gym, I suppose it sort of worked out for the better in the end.
Getting into the UFC and getting a great win in your first fight, it must have impacted the gym tremendously.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the opening of the gym obviously came at a perfect time. We knew before the fight, obviously, that me and my father was going to be opening the gym, and so it was a little bit of extra pressure. Obviously, the buzz of opening a new facility like that probably wouldn't have been the same if I picked up a loss. So I was happy to get the win in the way I did, and obviously the influx of people we've had come through the gym since the debut and since the opening has been great. Training partners, old and new, benefiting me. But not just that, guys who've been training 10 years to guys who are new starters. It's great to see such big numbers in the UK. We're not, I suppose MMA over here is not as big as it is maybe over in the States. So to see, us pulling in anywhere between sort of 50 and 80 participants per class is great to see, and I like to think that I'll play a little part in that, with the win and obviously the performance I put on in Copenhagen.
Yeah, there's no doubt that has impacted everything, man. It happens to every fighter around the world. Once they get those 3 letters next to their name, it just helps them tremendously with their business. Now you get your fight lined up versus Geraldo de Freitas in London, which is actually probably pretty good for you because you do have a business, and then going to London, it's not a long trip, so you don't have to spend so much time. What were your initial thoughts when you got the name on the contract?
I've watched a fight of Geraldo's before I even got, before we even got matched up, just through watching. I'm a bit of a fanboy, so I watch every fight there is, every card there is. I watch the prelims and the main card. So I knew what he was about. Obviously, I know he's a good grappler. He's a decent striker. But it's a fight I'm comfortable with. It's he brings a lot to the table, but nothing I haven't seen before. No, I don't want to say nothing that can't cause me problems, but every sort of strength he has, I feel like I'm capable of dealing with, and that's not a knock on him. He's a great fighter. It's just I feel I'm just that couple of percentage and couple of levels above him.
You mentioned that you have a new gym, so are you training at your own gym for this camp, or are you going to different locations to get the work in?
Yeah, so I do the majority of. Although it's a new gym, it's the same. It's my old gym. Then we've just moved facility to a bigger place, and we've obviously changed our name now from Tulare Combat to Show MMA, which is obviously something my father's been looking at doing for a long time. So I still got the same training partners. We've brought in Bret John, another Welsh guy who just fought in the UFC. He's looking for a quick turnaround, so we brought him in to help with the sparring. But yeah, I'm doing the majority of my training there. I do my boxing with Gary Lockett then in Cardiff, which is about a 30-minute drive. But everything, we're fortunate now that we've got a strength conditioning area as well as a full-size cage and a matted area. So, apart from having to travel to my boxing gym to do my sessions there, I've truly got everything I need under one roof. Some days I'm going in the gym 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm leaving 8 o'clock in the night. And I'm managing to get in 4 or 5 sessions some day, which is a massive luxury. To have a full-time facility like that in Wales. Especially for an MMA gym, is something that we haven't sort of seen. So it's made a massive impact on my training. My lifestyle as well has changed, obviously being down the gym 24/7 pretty much. So it's been great for me. I've really seen the benefits of it this camp.
Well, you might have a lot of guys come through now because, like you said, that's kind of unprecedented to have a place where everything is there already in one location. Do you see people coming in, like other fighters, because of that reason?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys travel down from Wales, and we had a couple of guys from England come down as well for a bit of sparring. But it's a friendly atmosphere at the gym. There's no egos. If anyone wants to come through to train and spar, provided we're not fighting them in a couple of weeks' time, then we always welcome them with open arms. It's hard to deny that we have the best facility in Wales and probably one of the best facilities in Europe, to be honest. Now, put a lot of time and money into it, so. Anyone who's sort of serious about, wanting that sort of atmosphere where, like you get in the American gyms, your ATT and your Jacksons, where you can truly stay at the gym all day if you want, where you've got 24/7 access to the gym, then Show MMA is the place to be. We got some of the world's best coaching staff, and you haven't got to leave Wales to access it. So it's made a massive difference to me and my team, and, the guys who are coming down to get a bit of work in, you can see that they reoccur and they come in more and more often, so you can see that obviously they're seeing the benefits of it as well.
And you got 2 of the best the country has to offer in mixed martial arts training at the gym. Hey, that's got to be lovely, yeah, especially for you and for him, because you guys get to train each other. Because Bret John, he's just coming off a massive win over Tony Gravely, I believe. Yeah, he finished him right in the 3rd round. Yeah, that was it. Submission rear naked choke. So I've been training on and off with Bret for years. He lives about a 45-minute to an hour drive away from me. But ever since I was an amateur and Bret was fighting at Titan FC, we've always sort of done a bit of training together on and off. But we're making it a regular thing now. And like you said, we're 2 of the best in the country, 2 of the best in the world even, some people would argue, in the division. So to have that sort of level of training partner, they're pushing me and get to spar with him every day, I'm very thankful to him. And I know he's thankful to me as well for the
the work we get to put in. So our level is only going to go up by training with each other. It's every round's 50-50. So there's things he's showing me, there's things I'm showing him. There's days when he's putting it on me like no one else in the gym can. So it's great for me. It takes me out of my comfort zone as well, and it's only going to push the level of both of us through the roof, which ultimately is what we want. The more Welsh guys in the UFC, breaking into the top 15, top 10 is better for Wales as a whole, not just for the gym. So it makes sense for us to be training together.
Yeah, beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. Now, for you, this fight coming up, how do you visualize this fight going down? Do you see like you're going to slow cook the guy, or do you see yourself finishing this up quick?
To be honest, I think Geraldo, he's one of them fighters where it truly could go either way. It could be a quick finish, or it could have to be a slow burn. He's a very good grappler. He's a first-degree black belt, so you got to take him seriously there. But with his striking, he's very wild on the feet and very aggressive. So it's a catch-22. I could catch him early. I know I've got slick hands and I can dig a bit. So if I can find the timing and the range on him early, who's to say I won't catch him and put him down early? But where he is so wild and so reckless, I can't come out there swinging then and play his own game with him, because that could end up turning bad for me. So as much as I like to think I can get him out there early, I may need to come out, fight tactically, keep myself nice and neat, and use my skill over sort of his aggression and his recklessness. So I'd love to get a first round finish. I think it'd really get the crowd going, especially for the fights later on in the night. But everyone knows, as long as I'm in the cage, I'll be pushing for the finish, whether it's the first, second, or third round. So I think I've got 4 third round finishes now, which is a bit insane, really. Which shows if I can put the pace and the game on someone for long enough, I tend to crack them and get them out of there. So we're coming for the finish, but we, as long as we get our win, we'll come away happy.
With everything coming together right now, with Bret John's coming with to your gym, you open your new facility, has everything there. You don't really have to travel too much anymore. Is your confidence higher than it has ever been? I know you've been confident your whole career, but I'm saying right now, is it like at another level?
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that played into that. Obviously, but before I signed the UFC, everyone was telling me, you deserve to be in the UFC. You can compete with the best in the world. And it's all well and good people telling you that, but if you don't believe it yourself, then it's just empty words. So I've always believed in myself, but the fact that I went out there and performed and showed to everyone, but myself as well, that I'm capable of beating these guys, especially Noeline, who's from a massive gym in AKA. We're capable of showing, despite being in a little country of Wales, and we can compete there. So that obviously boosted my confidence, and just the lifestyle I'm living now. The fact that if I want to spend 12 hours a day in the gym, whether it be training, rehabilitation, or just relaxing and watching some fights, and I can do that. I feel like now I'm living how the top guys do. You look at the big gyms. Like I've been out to Jackson Wink and train. I've seen the videos of AKA and ATT. Them guys are in the gym all day. They turn up for their morning session, and there's no need for them to leave. So the fact that I get to do that now without really having to travel too much is a big confidence booster for me. I know I'm utilizing every hour of the day. That nothing is being wasted. There's no the 2-3 hour traveling that I used to do some days, in previous camps. So for every minute I'm awake of the day, it's it's a constructive hour. So it's a constructive couple of hours. So my confidence is through the roof. But again, I'm under no illusion. When you're fighting in the UFC, you are fighting the best guys in the world. So although I'm confident and looking forward to showcasing what I got, at the same time, my coaches, they do a good job of reeling me in and making sure I stay focused on the task at hand. Do
you feel if it lines up right this year, you could be ranked by December?
Yeah, I don't think that it's a million miles away. I like to stay active. If I could get three fights, maybe even 4 to push in this year, there's no reason. Even if I get 3, that would leave me 4-0 in the UFC. There's no reason now after 2 fights, hopefully by the summer, that I can't push for I'm not saying a massive name, but there's no reason why I can't push for that 3rd fight to be a fight with a bit bigger stake, and hopefully push me into that top 15 rank. And that's ultimately the goal, obviously, is to get ranked and climb up that ladder. But again, I'm 25 just turned, so there's no rush. I've got to take my time. As much as I love to jump in there now and fight the top 10, it's a slow process, and that's why my coaches are there for, to keep me on the reins.
Yeah, well, if you get up to like 3-0, 4-0, that's when you can start calling people out, and it'll actually mean something. You know what I mean? Like when you're like 2 fights in it, calling people out doesn't really mean too much, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like when I signed for the UFC, everyone's like, "Oh, you want to fight for the belt and this and that." And it's like, well, of course I do, but no one's taking me seriously when I haven't had a fight or I'm 1-0 in the UFC. I'm aware that there's a lot of people in the division who are bigger names than me, who have sort of earned their status to be in the top 15. So, like you said, I've got to build up, keep building momentum, keep showing what I'm about, and then, like you said, maybe 3-4-0, I can start pushing then. And when I do call people out, there's a bit of purpose behind it. It's not just doing it for the sake of doing it.
All right. Bantamweight division, they just announced that the title fight is actually going to happen soon. Henry Cejudo versus Jose Aldo for UFC 50 in Brazil. Do you like this? Do you like that Jose Aldo's getting a title shot on two fight two fight losing streak?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm stuck in a bit of I'm sort of in the middle because I feel like it doesn't make sense. Obviously, him coming off 2 losses. He lost his bantamweight debut. I mean, I thought I won it, but whether what everyone thinks or not, in the record books, it's down as a loss. So it doesn't make a lot of sense in that sense. I don't think, to be coming off 2 losses and you're 0-1 in the division to get a title fight. But then on the flip side, it's Jose Aldo. So I mean, the former pound for pound king. People call him the greatest featherweight of all time. A lot of people slated him for going to bantamweight, and he fought Morales, and he looked as good as the best he's looked in a long time. So if it wasn't Aldo, I think I would be a lot more pissed off about it, and saying that it doesn't make sense. But the fact that it's Jose Aldo, I think we can let it slide just because of how much of a legend he is. And the funny thing is about it, like although he's on a 2 fight losing streak, it's not a fight where you look at it and think, oh, he's got no chance, because he could very well, spark Cejudo out. He's one of them, Aldo, when he turns up and he's on form, then he can beat anyone in the world. So if it wasn't Aldo, I probably would say, I'm not happy about it, but fuck it, it's Aldo, so he can do what he wants. You know what I mean?
Do you see Aldo sparking Cejudo? Do you think Aldo has a good chance of taking Cejudo out, knocking him out? I
mean, after watching his fight with Morales, I feel like he could probably, I think he definitely is in with a shout at catching him. Again, though, I think Cejudo, I don't want to say he's underrated because obviously he was the double champ, but I think Cejudo, because of the King of Cringe stuff, he doesn't get, I think it's a bit like the Colby Covington situation then. Like, because Colby Covington talks so much shit, people want to discredit his skills, and I think it's going that way with Cejudo a little bit because he's the King of Cringe and he's so weird online. People want to take away from his skill set, but you can't deny that the guy is, the best in the division. So, Aldo, he could catch him, but I think ultimately, so it'll be a very similar fight to when he fought Morales. I think Aldo starts strong, but we know over 5 rounds Aldo's cardio has always been questionable. So I think I see Cejudo dragging it out, sort of 3rd, 4th round. He'll start to take over then and maybe even get a finish.
After your next fight is over, do you want to branch out and go fight in the States, leave Europe? Because your first 2 fights, first is Denmark, now you're fighting in England. Do you want to go to the States? Because I think that's like the place where all the big fights happen, right? Las Vegas at least, right?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, I'm not overlooking or looking past this fight, but obviously if all goes well, I'd love a quick turnaround June, July time to get out to the States and just branch out. I know, me and probably 200 other fighters are going to be calling for it, but to fight on something like International Fight Week then in July, that would be a dream come true. Whether I was first fight of the night or whatever, to be on that card would be amazing. So if all goes well, there's no reason why I can't get a quick turnaround for that July card, or even June. There's a couple of American cards, even a fight night in America. Obviously, we can say what we want, and it's Europe is where I've got my base and where I've made a name for myself. But we all know the further you branch out, especially with America, like your Vegas, your New York, then that's when the big dogs are watching you. Then the top bosses are there and they keep an eye on you in person. So I'd love to get out there and fight sooner rather than later. Obviously, on the flip side, then I know UFC coming to Dublin in August. So if they don't want me in America, then obviously Dublin would make a lot of sense too. But If I had to pick a preference, as much as I'd love to fight in Ireland, I'm sure I can do that at a later date. I'd love to get out to America now and experience a couple of weeks out there, and experience and see what the American crowd got to offer. Take a couple of Welsh guys out there, Yeah. We like to be loud and make ourselves known in Wales, so it'd be great to take some of the Jackson army out there and let the Americans see what we're about as well.
Yeah, definitely. Also, in June they have that big card in Australia. The pay-per-view is there. There's a lot of options for you in the future, man. The rest of this year.
I mean, look again, Australia. Wouldn't that be a nice little 2-week trip? To go. I've got friends and family in Australia, so again, I'd love to go out there and have a scrap as well. I mean, I'm not one of these guys who just wants to stick in Europe fighting. I don't want to make the numbers up on the. I love fighting in Europe, and I'll never turn down a fight given on a European card, but I don't want to just make the numbers up and be another European guy fighting in Europe. I want to travel the world. I've done plenty of fighting in Europe now over the last sort of 4 or 5 years. So I'm open to any. Abu Dhabi, America, Australia, Japan, even send me anyway. I'm open to fighting anyway.
All right. Well, before all that happens, March 21st, UFC on ESPN Plus 29, London, England. Jack Shore makes his return. Jack, always good talking to you. Good luck on the fight. Good luck on your successful gym that you just opened and everything, man, else that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, mate. Always a pleasure. So I look forward to speaking to you again.